So the next stage which you'll be shown is your privacy setting. So the privacy setting for your computer is actually very important. So you can decide to leave this, but for security's sake, look at some of the settings here and change it. For example, get location, you might want to switch that off. Find my device, depending on you, personal preference, you might switch it off. Um, advertisement or advertising ID, I would like to switch that off. Tailored experience, might leave that. Diagnostics. So you can learn more about this particular settings, then click accept, and your installation process goes forward. So about to get the uh, lock screen, which is your home screen for your login process. So just patiently wait while it loads the home screen. So for the process of installing this Windows instance, uh, you might like to grab your drinks and snacks by the side because it does take some time depending on your processing speed, the processing speed of your computer, I mean. So while this is loading the interface, in order for Windows, the second instance of the Windows not to ask you for the bootable disk in the future, we have minimized this. You come into your Hyper-V manager while the PC2 is selected. Click on settings. We don't want it to ask you for the ISO disk every time you try to boot up the system. So I'm waiting for this to come up. The settings, just patiently wait for this to load. So this is a little bit slow. It has to load through. So this is the DVD drive that we used for the installation, right? So it's still pointing at the installation CD. So it said specify the media to use with the virtual disk. You click none, so that the next time you boot up your Hyper-V after switching it down, it doesn't ask you for the DVD like you're about to install it again. Then you also go to the firmware. This is quite slow. You also go to the firmware and you change the installation, the BIOS boot up sequence. So it's going to boot up from the hard drive. That's what we want it to do. So you click on hard drive here. Remember, you click on firmware, you click on hard drive, and you click move up, move up. So remember, initially it was booting from the DVD, and we no longer want it to ask for the DVD every time it boots up. So we'll choose the hard drive. So the next time it wants to boot up, it'll boot up from the hard drive. And here we said none, so it's going to use the hard drive. Then click on apply. And click OK. Click OK. So minimize your Hyper-V and we'll go back into Windows. So we already have Windows 10 for the second instance. So you can decide to make the display configuration large or small. So I'm just going to tune mine to a smaller size because I want to see all the things I'm doing on my PC. Then click connect. This is the first thing you do. Click connect. Okay. So this sometimes disconnects it to say video remoting was disconnected. This most likely has to do with your internet connection. So it's going to connect back. So if your internet connection breaks in between, you might get that message. Just leave it. It will boot up. If it doesn't boot up, check your internet connectivity and ensure that everything is as it should be. Okay, so you'll note it will bring back the interface where we were just using right now. So just patiently wait for this. So it says please continue. So this is how I want my interface to look like. I don't want it to be big. And please take note of something. When I clicked connect earlier, there was a message on the right hand side that talked about the network. So in order for us to use file sharing later on in this assignment, there is a need to click no. So no means the setting is on private. When it's on private, you're able to share files and other things. But if you click yes, it will make the computer take up a public profile, which means file sharing won't be possible. So even if you don't click any options there, we can go back into the network center and change the particular setting. So this is actually important. So while the interface is out here, please type in your password to this place. Okay. So once you type in your password in here, you will get, okay, so it has brought back this interface for us. So remember, I was the one who chose a small interface for this. If you choose something larger, then it should take a wider range of your screen. So we want to ensure that we take on a public network, that we don't take up a public network. So I've clicked no. So I'm going to minimize PC2 a bit. So this is how you create an instance of Windows on your Hyper-V. So we have created this, and now I want to do something before end this particular session. Right click, come to the lower left corner of your newly created Windows instance. Right click on this space, on this Windows button, right click and select System. We want to change the internal name of the computer to GRC PC2. So it gives the information about the computer and it says rename this PC. And I'm going to call it GRC PC02. The reason why I'm doing this, some of you may need to add your student number or name behind it because you're using some computers, and some of you will store your hard drive, your virtual hard disk in the same location, and you might have naming conflicts. And the other reason why I'm changing the internal name is because when we do the network connectivity later on, and you have to take a screenshot to indicate the name of PC1 and PC2, it won't show the default computer name, which may be something random. So this will be more direct for your assignment. So once you click next, it's going to ask you a question regarding this particular activity. After you restart, your PC name will change. So we'll restart now. So that's the process of this particular installation. So it will restart our Windows and we'll log in again to continue other activities. So you can see we have our interface, and we'll end this particular session here. So we've done the basic installation.